Today's topic for discussion is general account of lichens. Lichens, these are the plants which are formed by the combination of algae and fungus. Algae and fungus live together and they are beneficial to each other. Symbiotic relationship is there, and such association of these two organisms developed a new thallus that is known as lichen. And the lichens are small group of plants. There are about 18,000 species reported from world. And their true nature was discovered in middle of the 19th century. During the 1860s, it was found that the thallus of every lichen is composed of two quite different organisms, that is fungus and alga, forming a self-supporting combination. The algal component is called mycobiont and the fungal component is called mycobiont and the algal component is known as phycobiont. The two organisms, they live together, they are associated together and they are formed a new thallus. The fungal component forms a bulk of the lichen thallus. Most of the part of lichen thallus is made up of fungal component. The algal component which occurs in lichen, that is only about 5 to 10% of the mass of the total thallus of the lichen. The lichen thallus thus especially made up of fungal components, and the fungal hyphae form a closed network resembling a tissue that looks like a tissue. And another extraordinary thing about the lichen is that the new individual resulting from this association of algae and fungus differs considerably from either of the partners in the form and the habit. It also has a physiology of its own. The fungi obtain food from the dead organic matter saprophytically, but in this lichen thallus, fungus obtain food material which is synthesized by algae. Algae synthesize food material because chlorophyll is present in that. By the process of photosynthesis, algae prepare food material for its own and it also supply to the fungus. Fungus supply minerals and moisture to the algae in lichen thallus. In a lichen, both the components live on a food manufactured by algal component only. Lichens thus are biotrophic in their mode of nutrition as they obtain their food from the living algal associate. Probably food materials from the alga diffuse out and it is absorbed by the fungus. The reproductive organs, however, are entirely fungal in characters. Every individual of a given lichen species contains the same alga and the same fungus. This dual nature of the lichen thallus has been confirmed experimentally. People have been successfully in building up a new lichen individual out of a fungus and its appropriate alga. The algal component in the association may belong to the algal component which occurs in lichen. Mostly it is from the class Cyanophyceae, and very few members of Chlorophyceae takes part in the formation of lichen. And the most common blue-green algae which takes part in the formation of lichen, they are nostoc, Stygonyma, Rivularia, Glyocapsa, etc. About 80% of all the lichen thalli contain green algae. Of these, unicellular green alga Tribioxia is the common algae which takes part in formation of lichen. On the basis of algal component, the lichens may be divided into two groups, that is cyanophycobilous lichens in which blue-green algae is present, and number 2 chlorophycobilous lichen which contain green algae in the lichen. The fungal partner is generally Ascomycetes from the class Ascomycetes. Only in 2 or 3 genera out of 400, the fungal component is the Basidiomycete. Okay, and let us see how is the habit of the lichen. The lichens grow in a wide variety of habitat. They are commonly found growing on the walls, roofs of houses. They grow on leaves. They grow on branches of tree, bark of the tree, even on the rock and large stones. They are very common. Generally, they are xerophytic in nature and thus can be tolerate to drought or adverse environmental conditions. And they easily survive in adverse environmental conditions. They multiply and grow and multiply in all types of environmental factors. Here they live happily under conditions of drought and apparent starvation. Usually the lichens are attached very firmly, very strongly to the substratum. However, they derive food or inorganic components from the substratum, and rather they depend on the rain or spray. They absorb whatever substances they require through the whole surface of the thallus from those dissolved in the rainwater. Many species of the lichen able to grow in low temperature. They are abundant on high mountain elevations. They grow in extremely cold regions such as Arctic tundras where the conditions are unfavorable for the growth of other plants. Many lichens grow in tropical and subtropical regions of the world. Okay, and let us see the distribution. Lichens are one of the most widely distributed group of plants. They are found all over the globe, all over the world, from the Arctic to Antarctic regions and all regions in between and in diverse habitats. The factors which help them in their widespread distribution are their symbiotic nature and their vegetative propagation and efficient means of dispersal and resistance to extreme temperature, moisture and cold regions. These are the reasons of distribution of lichen throughout the world. Let us see different forms of lichen. There are 3 different forms of lichen studied. And number 1, crustose type of lichen. Number 2, foliose lichen. Number 3, fructicose lichen. The plant body in the lichen is a thallus. Plant body of lichen is known as thallus. It is grey or greyish green in color, irregularly shaped color. Some species are strongly pigmented and may be yellow, orange, brown or red in color. In some forms of lichen, the form and habit, the lichen thalli are highly diverse, highly different. Some species simply form a powdery layer over the substratum, over the tree trunk or rock or large stones, and others form a thin crust-like growth on the surface of the substratum. And few species present intermediate forms. Basically, however, there are 3 main types of lichen thalli or 3 main forms of lichen thalli, that is crustose lichen, number 2 foliose lichen, number 3 fructicose lichen. Let us see number 1, crustose lichen. In the photograph is given. For first photograph is for the crustose lichen type. Crustose lichen is like a crust. The thallus of lichen is very closely associated with the substratum. The thallus is very flat and thin, usually without distinct lobes. Irregularly spherical. It is just like a thin layer or crust closely attached to the whole of its lower surface to the stone or rock or the bark or the tree. And similar, or it can grow on any hard substratum which is crust like. And it is such lichen, the crustose type of lichen is not possible to separate without breaking. Okay, the surface of thallus is usually divided into more or less hexagonal areas which are called as areolae. In many species, the thallus is partly buried in the substratum. Example of crustose lichen is graphis. Graphis is a type of crustose lichen. Next, another type of lichen, that is foliose form of lichen or foliose type of lichen. Foliose means leaf-like. In this case, the foliose type of lichen it is also flat, broad, it is highly lobed. The border of the foliose lichen is leaf-like, and in form it often resembles a twisted leaves. The border is highly lobed. It grows more or less free from the substratum but close to it. It has a distinct upper and lower surface. The lower surface may be white or sooty. The edges of the foliose lichen are curled up, as shown in the middle photograph. The foliose thallus is attached to the rock and twigs by rhizoidal system. Rhizoid-like structure is present, which is known as rhizine. The rhizine arises from the lower surface of the thallus. In some foliose lichen, the rhizine consists of single, simple and branched hypa. In others, it is made up of number of hypae laying parallel and closely applied to one another. The free end of rhizine broadens to form a flat disc. The disc secretes mucilage substance. That substance helps in attachment of the thallus to the substratum. And these lichens, the foliose lichens, are dark or dark brown in color. The thallus in some species is attached to the substratum by means of single rhizine. It grows from the center of the lower surface of the thallus. In others, the thallus is attached by several rhizines. The common example of foliose lichen is the Parmelia. Parmelia, it is a type of foliose lichen. Let us see the third form of lichen, that is fructicose lichen. The fructicose lichens are the most conspicuous and have a most complex thallus, which is cylinder and freely branched. The branches may be cylindrical or branches may be ribbon-like or flat and form a thread-like or twig-like tufts. In many species of Cladonia, it is a lichen, the branches stand stiffish erect, making the thallus resemble a teeny bud. There are other lichens like Usnea, one more type of lichen, and in which the branches are pendant, hanging branches are present. The thallus is attached to the substratum with the help of a disc-like structure, which is known as it has a flat disc for the attachment to the substratum, and mostly it grows in hanging position. The fructicose lichen makes extensive and attractive growth standing out from the rocks, foliage and branches of tree. The thallus shows no differentiation into upper and lower surface. Example is Usnea, Cladonia, Ramalina. These are the fructicose type of lichen. In the fructicose type of lichen, these are branched and looks like a small herb, and at the end of each branch a cup-like structure is developed, and it is the cup-like structure is known as apothecium. Okay, this is all about forms of the lichens. Okay, next let us see the internal structure of the lichen or anatomy of lichen or the internal transverse section of lichen. On the basis of internal structure, the lichen thalli are divided into two groups. That is, which are the two groups? That is, number one, homoisomerous lichen. Number 2, heteroisomerous lichen. Let us see the homoisomerous lichen. This is the transverse section of homoisomerous lichen. In this lichen, most of the lichen belong to this category. They exhibit considerable differentiation and layered structure. See the photograph. The algal components in a homomerous lichen, it consists of loosely interwoven mass of fungal hyphae, and some algal elements are present between the intercellular spaces of hyphae. The algal component quantity of algal component is less, and the algal components are the members of blue green algae. Okay, the lichen thallus with the algal components scattered uniformly between a fungal hyphae throughout the thallus. Such thalli, they are called simple thalli or homoisomerous thalli of the lichen. Okay, let us see another type of lichen, that is TS of transverse section of heteroisomerous lichen. This is the photograph shown in the slide. Let us discuss. Most of the lichens belong to this category and they exhibit considerable differentiation and layered structures. The algal component in the heteromerous thallus is restricted to a specific zone or layer. The algal components are restricted to the upper cortex or upper zone of the thallus, and a vertical section of foliose lichen shows this type of structure, and the lower region of the thallus, it is having unbranched rhizines, and upper region, which is made up of interwoven hyphae, which is known as upper cortex, and lower cortex is shown there. It is also made up of interwoven hyphae which are compactly arranged, and the pink region in the photograph, that is called as medulla. It is the loosely arranged hyphae. Again, they are the hyphae, but they are loosely arranged, and algal zone is placed below the upper cortex or upper cortex of the lichen. This type of thallus occurs in heteroisomerous lichen. Okay, let us discuss in detail upper cortex. It forms the upper surface which is generally thick and protective. The fungal hyphae in this region, they are more or less vertically and compactly arranged to produce a tissue-like structure, and this region is also described as pseudoparenchyma region or pseudoparenchyma-like structure, which is called upper cortex. The fungal cells in the upper cortex are either closely packed without intercellular spaces, and they are filled with gelatinous material. Generally, the upper cortex has epidermis-like structure on the surface. Okay. Number 2, below that algal zone is placed. It is the blue-green algae. The green zone, it is also called green zone, which lies just below the upper cortex. It consists of tangled network of loosely interwoven fungal hyphae with the algal cells of green alga or blue-green alga. And such type of structure, it is common among the blue-green algae. Unicellular blue-green algae is very common in this lichen. Let us see the medulla of the heteroisomerous lichen. It forms the central core of the thallus. It is less compact and consists of loosely interwoven hyphae with large spaces between them in certain regions. The fungal hyphae in this region are scattered and usually have thick walls. They run in all directions. The central hyphae of the medullary region usually run longitudinally. They become very thick in this region of the thallus, and thin at the margin. Here and there they give out anastomosing strands. Okay, let us see the lower cortex region of the thallus, lichen thallus. It forms the lower surface of the thallus and it is composed of compactly arranged hyphae. They run perpendicular to the surface of the thallus and or parallel to it, and bundles of the hyphae, that is rhizine, often arise from the surface of this lower cortex and penetrate the substratum. From the lower cortex, some hyphae they act as a rhizines and they penetrate to the substratum and they help in fixation of the thallus to the substratum. Rhizines in the species arise directly from the thicker part of the medullary region. Okay, this is all about heteromerous lichen, internal structure of heteromerous lichen. Let us see the reproduction in lichen. How the lichen reproduces. Lichens reproduces by three methods. Number 1, vegetative reproduction, and number 2, asexual reproduction, and number 3, sexual reproduction. One minute. This is the vegetative, next slide. This is vegetative reproduction in lichens. Lichens reproduce vegetatively by the method of the fragmentation and formation of isidia and soredia. The fragmentation method, in this case, the vegetative thallus of the lichen, because of any mechanical agency, it gets broken into pieces, and whenever the broken piece or the fragment gets a proper substratum, it can grow into a new lichen thallus. This is the method of fragmentation in lichen thallus. It is a vegetative reproduction. Another type of vegetative reproduction, it takes place by formation of isidia and soredia. Isidia and soredia, these are very common in lichen thalli. Let us see what are isidia. These are very small conical structures developed on the thallus, upper surface of the thallus, as shown in the photograph. And these isidia, most of the part of isidia are made up of the hyphal threads and few components of algae. These are small in size, very small cup-like structures. These are released in dry weather, and whenever they are transferred by any mechanical agency or by wind or by insect, and whenever they comes in contact with proper substratum, they grow and develop into a new lichen. Soredia is one more type of cup-like structure which are larger than the isidia, and these are also small, round but larger than bud-like structures and larger than isidia. The soredia also contain few algal elements and little amount of fungal hyphae. Both the fungi and algae are the same as in the parent thallus. Sometimes soredia are developed in more organized manner and occur localized, and postule-like structures, they looks like a pustule or a bud, and these are released by any mechanical agency or automatically when in dry season they are released and settle down on a proper substratum, and they grow into a new lichen thallus. Let us see asexual reproduction in lichens. Asexual reproduction in lichens takes place by formation of oidea. The idea, these are also very small spherical structures, bud-like structures, and these are produced on the lichen thallus in a cup-like structure, and these structures, these structures are released from the lichen thallus and grow into a new lichen thallus, because each oidium is having a few elements of hyphae and few elements of algae. Let us see the sexual reproduction in algae. Sexual reproduction in lichens. Sexual reproduction in lichens takes place by formation of male and female gametes. Female gamete is known as ascogonium and male gamete is known as spermogonium. The sexual reproduction, it is entirely the concern of the fungal partner on which the sexual organs are developed. The male reproductive organ is called spermogonium and the female sex organ is called carpogonium. Let us see the spermogonia or male gamete producing structure. In certain species of lichens, the pycnidia-like structures are developed and that functions as spermogonia. Each spermogonium is a flask-like structure, flask-shaped receptacle immersed in a small elevation on the upper surface of the thallus. It has an opening which is known as ostiole. The cavity of spermogonium is filled with sterile hyphae and fertile hyphae. The fertile hyphae restrict minute rounded cells at their tips. These are the male cells and are called the spermatia as shown in the photograph. They are non-motile, they are very small and that are produced in large numbers in each receptacle. Each spermatium has a cell wall around it. The spermatia are set free in the slimy mass which oozes out through the ostiole. This is all about spermogonia or male gamete. Okay, next the female gamete, ascogonium or carpogonium or female gamete. The carpogonium or ascogonium is a very special cellular filament. It consists of two portions, the lower coiled portion and the upper straight portion. The coiled portion constitutes ascogonium. It is multicellular structure. Ascogonium is multicellular structure. The cells are uninucleate. In certain species they are multinucleate. The ascogonium lie very deep in the medullary region of the thallus as shown in the photograph. The carpogonia either develop from the hyphae of medullary region or from the hyphae deep in the algal layer of the lichen thallus. The ascogonium is also known as carpogonium. The straight upper portion of carpogonium is called the trichogyne. It is also multicellular. The component cells are elongated. The septa between the cells have minute holes in their center. The terminal portion of trichogyne ends in a long cell which projects beyond the surface of the thallus and has a gelatinous cell wall. From the account given above, it is evident that The sexual apparatus of the lichen differs from that of the red algae. It is different from other organisms. This is the female gamete. Let us see the fertilization. The spermatia or the male cells have been found adhering to gelatinous wall of the projecting terminal cell of trichogyne. From this, some lichenologists conclude that the spermatia are functional. At the point of contact, the intervening walls between the spermatium and trichogyne dissolve. The content of spermatium migrates through the spore into the trichogyne. The supporters of the view hold that only the carpogonia of which the trichogynes have been spermatized develop into ascus fruits. And after fertilization, apothecium is developed. Apothecium, it is a fruiting body in which the ascus is developed, and inside ascus, ascospores are developed, and the ascospores are released from the ascus, and whenever the ascospore comes in contact with the proper algal partner, they settle on the proper substratum and produces a new lichen thallus. This is all about sexual reproduction in lichens. Thank you very much. Save trees, save earth.